Hi guys, I'm going to be going over the instructions for the Week 2 Civil Rights Movement accommodated assignments. So here we go. We're just going to go over these instructions through March the 30th to April the 3rd. So your instructions are to read the passage, 16th Street Baptist Church bombing. I'm going to post a link to those readings. Number 2, you're going to pay attention to footers and notes when you are reading. So when you go to the bottom and you see those little terms that are marked by a little number that is corresponding to the mark left in the passage, you're going to take note of that, and so that way it'll explain a little bit more about the context of what's going on. And so number 3, you're going to complete 2 of the following activities. Lesson 1 is going to be a summary salad. Lesson 2 is going to be why. Lesson 3, the 3-2-1 summary. And then you're going to complete that little formative assessment on Google Forms for your teacher. Make sure that when you fill that out, that you're actually looking at it, doing the directions, so that way it's not going to be 0, because it will take a grade from that. Lesson number 1. So there's the video about that. If you can access that, go ahead and look it up. Do that. I'm going to post, like I said, I'm going to post a reading about that, so that way it kind of helps a little bit. So directions for the summary salad are going to help you summarize the main ideas and the supporting ideas of the text. I can look at the following options for summary sentences. I can pick the best sentences from the next slide. I can use those and add my own sentences to write a 5-sentence summary, 5 complete sentences. I can summarize the main ideas and supporting ideas in a text. Racial tensions in the 1950s and 60s, especially in Birmingham, led to bombings throughout the city. One of the bombs was set off in a church and killed 4 young girls. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke at the funeral. So we have 5 solid sentences. Well, these are 3 right here, actually. So you have racial tensions in the 1950s, one of the bombs was set off in the church, Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral. All you got to do is insert a couple sentences that are relevant to what's talking about. Talking about the racial tensions. What were the racial tensions like? One of the bombs was set off in a church and killed 4 young girls. Say something about one of the young girls. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke at the funeral. Something to tie in those together. Make something to make a connection. That's number 2. Directions. I can analyze author's craft and purpose with a specific text. You will complete the assignment on the next slide. Read each question and consider the why of the text. Type your responses in the corresponding boxes. So you're going to pick, yes. So it's going to say why. What is the genre of the text? It's informational. Why do people read this type of text? People read informational text because why might the author have written this particular text? The author wrote this text because, why did they do that? What was the purpose? Why might I read this text if I didn't have to? I would read this text because I would like to learn about ... Why did the author give the text this title? The title relates to the text, so take advantage of these sentence stems. Okay, it's getting you started, so that way you should be able to follow some sort of thought. Teacher wants me to read this text because it's important that we learn about ... State what you're going to take away from the story. What did you learn? What did you think was important? I now know ... because this story told about... Lesson 3. Directions. I can synthesize and make logical connections between ideas within a text and across text. You will complete this activity on the next slide. Use ideas from the 2 texts you have read to generate the following, meaning the one last week and the one this week. 3 ways the texts are similar. 2 ways the texts are different. 1 conclusion using information from the 2 or more of the text. Type your responses in the space provided. So as an example, or at least sentence stems to get you started. 3 ways the texts are similar. 16th Street church bombing and the sit-in movement are the same because... what do they talk about? They are the same because... they are the same because... Okay, and then it says 2 ways the texts are different. 16th Street church and the sit-in movement are different because...